Have you ever wondered how no-dig gardening could help your gardening? I'm here with Charles Dowding, who's the guru of no-dig and author of Organic Gardening, The No-Dig Way, and I'm going to ask him to tell us how gardening in the no-dig way can make a real difference to our gardens if we're growing loads of flowers and not just vegetables. This is Alexandra from the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel and blog, bringing you tips, ideas and inspiration for your garden. To be honest, I don't do much digging. But I did wonder if the principles of no-dig veg, which is getting so popular in allotments all over the world now, and no-dig flower borders are the same. Am I doing the right thing by mulching my borders but not digging it in? And what else do I need to know about no-dig flower borders? Charles Dowding is known for his trials, carried out over around 30 years, comparing yields of dig and no-dig vegetable beds. He runs workshops, writes books and has a fantastically successful YouTube channel. It's all based at Home Acres, which is about 3/4 of an acre in Somerset. Charles maintains that digging the soil destroys its structure and makes it less healthy. If you lay a few inches of compost or manure on top of the soil once a year, the worms will dig it in naturally, he explains. He weeds manually or with a hoe just on the top inch or so of earth. And for perennial weeds, such as bindweed or couch grass, he covers the whole bed in light-excluding mulch so that the roots die.
It's because it's a way of looking after the soil, really, and for the best result and for time saving. So all those benefits you can bring to your flower borders just as much as to the vegetable garden. The main difference is that the flowers are not such greedy plants. You know, vegetables being the Olympic athletes they are, flowers are not quite so demanding. So generally I use a little less compost, maybe half the amount on the flower borders compared to what we put on the vegetables. And also often with vegetables we're double cropping in a year, doing second plantings, and flowers maybe not quite so much of that. The fundamental tenet of no-dig is to thorough mulch at the beginning. Year one is often different to all subsequent years. So your thorough mulch is going to get your ground clean of weeds like buttercup, ground elder, dandelions, stingy nettles, the perennial weeds that can be so ongoing and difficult. Therefore, if it's a herbaceous border, you maybe do have a tricky question to ask, do I want to fiddle around mulching around all these plants, or maybe it might be in the long term more worthwhile to dig some of them out, tease out any roots of bindweed in amongst their roots and keep them in a pot and then replant them, for example, because then it's much easier to do it if you've got perennial weeds. If you've got a lot of perennial weeds, it can be a lot easier just to have completely bare ground and do a thorough light excluding mulch. That's the tenet, light excluding, because then the weeds like even bindweed, but couch grass, for example, they're trying to grow, but they're growing in darkness and their roots gradually exhaust themselves. And the mulch you use, it could be any combination of cardboard and compost, or compost and black polythene, take your pick. So basically, and the reason for the compost, and with compost, by the way, can be anything like decomposed. So it could be leaf mould, it could be well-rotted animal manure, it could be compost you buy or whatever, homemade. It's to feed the soil. That's what the organic matter is about, and feeding the soil literally means feeding organisms in the soil, and that's what keeps your soil alive and healthy and makes your plants healthy.
He plants seedlings with a dibber, dropping them straight into the hole without disturbing the soil around them, and his trials show that undisturbed soil, which is fed with compost, will be firm, easy to plant into, will have fewer weeds and better yields of vegetables. So how does that work for annual flowers? Charles says the same principles apply to no-dig borders of flowers, perennials and shrubs. At Home Acres there are flowers everywhere, from companion plantings of marigolds to purely ornamental cosmos and zinnias, which are annuals, and perennials such as roses.
One of the reasons why this is so effective, no-dig compared to digging, is that you haven't disturbed the soil. When you mulch, rather than trying to dig all the roots out, the soil thanks you for it. Soil does not like to be upheaved. It's a disturbing process. You know, soil is a living organism. It's not just dead material. And the result is the soil does not need to recover. Soil recovers by growing weeds. So if you haven't disturbed it, you get less weeds. And I hear it again and again, and people say, wow, this is amazing. I've tried no-dig. I can't believe how few weeds I haven't. But I think that if you haven't tried it, sometimes it's hard to believe that. But That's why it's really worth having a go.
The principle of no-dig flower growing is the same as no-dig vegetable growing. I watched Charles plant out a tray of spinach seedlings. He made holes with a dibber and then dropped the seedlings straight into the hole. He finds that seedlings are more likely to succeed than sowing the seeds straight into the soil. When it comes to planting shrubs or perennials, Charles advises digging a hole big enough to hold the root ball of the plant, but no bigger. He doesn't think that you should loosen the soil around the area or that would help the plant grow. He believes that plants grow better in firm soil, and certainly the plants at Home Acres bear this out. You can actually walk on no-dig borders as well. I'm always diving into my borders to deadhead or pull out a weed, so I was worried I was damaging the soil structure, but Charles says that healthy soil is firm enough to walk on. One of the beauties of no-dig gardening is that you can walk out onto your beds to work without damaging the soil structure. You can learn more about no-dig gardening with Charles Dowding's courses, talks and books, and there are links in the description below, or catch up with his really excellent YouTube channel on growing organic no-dig vegetables. And if you don't subscribe to the Middlesized Garden YouTube channel, do join us. We upload on Saturdays, and I aim to be as clear and informative as Charles is about gardening in a middle-sized garden, with tips, ideas and inspiration for those of us whose gardens are, well, not very big.